Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Socks and Stripes Forever. We are back, and well, albeit temporarily, but this is not a recording that you've potentially been watching for the last 8 weeks or however many weeks it's been since we've been here. It's been a while, huh?
How long has it been?
October?
Yeah, 2-3 months.
Starting to lose track of things because because it's just been so many years now, right? So first of all, we have no idea what year this is. We're gonna argue about this.
This is our 9th year. Okay, let's do it this. No, not 9th year. Let's do it. We started in 2009 because it was the year the Yankees signed Sabathia to Teixeira and won it.
Pretty sure we started in 08.
2-8?
I don't know. We'll have to go back and.
Okay, we've been doing this a long time. How's that?
Yeah, we're pushing the centennial mark, right? Not centennial.
Frank, are we like the senior show here? What's the deal? How many shows like ahead of here?
Years you've been doing this?
We think
8 or 9.
Tim and Blue Dog claim 18.
18.
Wow, I don't know. Wow.
I don't know if I'll live that long.
That's a long way to go.
Irish claims about 18.
Okay.
All right.
Yeah,
well, all right.
You're third.
All right. Yeah, we're on the list.
We're gonna have to have you cancel a couple of shows for us.
We're on the list. Anyways, so here we are. It's February 7th today, right?
Right. And happy birthday to my brother yesterday. I think he was 71.
Wow.
Yeah.
How about that? Bob?
Yes.
Congratulations. And also, so the show will be on February 9th, but also 7 days from now is a very special day.
Oh, yes.
Shouldn't have to think so hard. It's Valentine's Day, right?
Yes, it is.
No, it's not. It's the first day that pitchers and catchers report.
Oh.
Yes. I just came up with that.
I acquiesce to your genius.
Thank you. My quick wit. So it is Valentine's Day for all you men out there that might forget. And but more importantly, it's the first day that pitchers and catchers officially report to camp. And I believe that the 20th is the first full participation reporting. So we're getting there. The point is we're getting there.
By contract. You're talking about like for the major leagues, not by teams. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Because that's the earliest you can show.
Yeah, because I mean, I don't know about the Yankees, but already there's a lot of guys that are in spring training for the Red Sox already. And why not, right? I mean, why would you want to be up here when you could be down there playing some ball? At least, getting loose, warming up, trying to get back into the swing of things. So first of all, how was your holidays? Everything?
They all run into each other, man.
I know.
One becomes the other.
Yep.
But it was good and healthy.
Good.
How about you?
That's all that matters. Same thing, expensive as always, right? Everything costs a fortune, and mostly just kind of a blur. You're right. The best part of the holidays is when they're over.
I hate to say that, but
what
it's
I
right.
think.
I ate too much.
Yeah, there's always a little bit of build up, but this year was weird. I mean, we left the tree up for too long, got lazy, and that was.
When did you take it down?
We took it down. I wanted to take it down like the day after Christmas. She wanted to take it down I think we ended up taking it down like the middle of January, like a week or two into January.
We always do it like the day after the 1st.
That's a good.
Kind of like the holidays are kind of over.
Yeah, that's a good day. I mean, because usually you have that day off of work or something like that, so that's a good day. We just never got around to it. But anyways, the stuff is put away. And
did you have a real tree?
No, we have a fake tree. You?
Real tree.
Real tree. Okay, so I always like a real tree, right? When I was a kid growing up, we always had real trees. There's something about it, going cutting it down yourself and the whole experience of it all. But now that we got a fake tree, I will never go back to a real tree.
Is it a nice fake tree?
Oh my god! Oh yeah, it's real nice.
Okay.
It's all got the lights on it already.
Oh, so it's one of those.
Dude.
So is it like half and half, and you like put it together?
It's in 3 pieces.
3 pieces.
Right. So you take it. It fits nice and easy in a box. It's about the length of this table. I think the tree is probably 6 feet, so just a little bit taller than I am. And you take the pieces out, you just clip them together, you plug the lights in, bam, good to go. And then you got to bring the branches down and fluff them up a little bit.
And then you put all your stuff on it then?
Yeah.
Okay, bulbs and...
Well, not to get too into it, but Megan's a Christmas freak. We have a storage area in my garage that's...
In your garage?
Yeah, that's in the garage. It's like maybe, let's say if it's the size of this room, half of it is stuffed with Christmas stuff.
Christmas?
Swear to God. Boxes upon boxes upon boxes. Dude, I'm telling
you. She really
you.
gets into the seasons, huh?
Oh, and her mom's the worst because her mom buys her all this stuff. And it's every year she's like, New ornaments. Everybody gets new ornaments every year. I'm just like, where the hell are we gonna put all this stuff, anyways?
Such is life in the big city.
Such is life in the Groton city. Okay, and so I'm trying to think of. I should have thought deeper, but like other things that had happened between last show and now. You got a new dog.
I got a new dog.
got a new
We
dog.
lost a dog.
Lost a dog. I wasn't gonna say that.
Carter was 10 and a half, and he was a good boy.
Yep.
And we got a new one, and Dempsey, he was 1 year old in February, and he is the devil incarnate.
and when you told me how heavy he was, I was shocked.
He's 83 pounds, but he's long, and if you saw him, I think you would guess he was about 70 pounds.
Really?
Yeah, because he's not thick,
Okay.
but he's solid, and if you try to wrestle with him, you can tell he's 83 pounds.
Oh,
He
yeah.
knows how to leverage his weight.
Oh, yeah.
So 83 pounds in the beginning, for a while he was eating 6 cups of food a day.
Holy, what? Oh my God.
And just like woofing it down.
Dude, he's gonna end up being
Yeah, I
heavier
mean,
than you.
no, he's long. He's not. He's
gotta-
not remotely overweight.
He's got to fill out, right? Yeah, well, he's still a pup, so I mean, he's probably
Yeah,
got
1 year.
huge paws and all that, right? And on top of that, you're going to be getting another dog.
And on top of that, right now, where we got Dempsey, the people that breed dogs, another dog just took, and
what's that mean?
and, pregnant, and been pregnant for like 3 weeks, and so like another 4 weeks, then she'll be born, and we're gonna call her Ivy.
Ivy.
Yes,
Oh, you didn't tell
female.
me. I don't think you told me you had it.
Yeah, Ellen picked the name Ivy, and for this would be if it's a boy, it would be the first one I ever got to choose because she liked the name I picked, and I think Murphy.
Murphy.
I like the
all
name
right.
Murphy.
Oh, nice, good Irish name,
Yeah,
right?
so it looks like it's going to be a tan, blonde.
Nice, nice. And that'd be cool too because you'll have dogs, a couple of dogs, pretty close in age to just beat the crap out of each other, and then you have your older dog.
And Sophie's going to be 13 March 3rd.
So she'll be like the
Finally.
the matriarch of the,
That's it.
of the family, and
That's it.
she'll be putting the law down too.
That's
telling
it. She does now. You got that
those
right.
Two pups, what to do.
Yep.
All right, cool. So that's pretty much our off-season
Okay.
wrap up. So
That sounded
we're Stocks and
exciting.
Stripes forever.
And I'm looking for a grill.
Oh yeah, well, that's one of the biggest news stories of the off-season. Jeff's gonna buy a grill. We'll see how that pans out. that's got all the makings of a bad story. All right, let's. Why don't we talk about a little bit of baseball, huh?
Well, that's why we're here,
why
right?
not? So first of all, let's get into. I don't want to talk about the Super Bowl right now. I don't even really want to talk about it at all. But I suppose at the end we can.
Yeah, that's going to make it in somehow at the
We
end.
can
I think.
squabble about it. I know you're going to want to talk about it, but it's just a bunch of crap. All right. But besides like one major thing that happened, I feel like this has been a pretty quiet
I
offseason
agree.
for both teams. Sometimes that's a good thing. Sometimes that's a bad thing. Sometimes you have teams that need to make moves. Sometimes less is more. Addition by subtraction, or hanging on to your prospects. In the case of the Yankees,
And not the Red Sox.
And not the Red Sox. The Red Sox obviously, went out and made the big splash of the offseason. I think in all baseball.
I
Obviously.
agree.
But when you move a player of that stature, obviously that's going to be the number one thing. And actually, if you think of all of baseball this offseason, I can't really think of anything monumental that has happened. There's been a couple moves here and there. Encarnacion going to
Cespedes resigning is a big deal.
Cespedes
That's a big deal.
resigning.
He went
It
back
is,
to the
yeah.
Mets.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not so. About how I feel about the Mets, but so let's talk about our team. So you want to start with the Yankees? Want to tell me where you're at, how you're feeling, what do you got?
I would say I am right where I was at the end of last year when we had our last show, and I told you what I think the Yankees were going to do, what they had to do. And I know I told you 2 years ago, I think the Yankees are in some form of a 3-year plan, because at the end of the 3-year plan, Sabathia, Teixeira are off of the payroll.
Well, Teixeira's gone now.
Well, I'm sorry. Sabathia and Rodriguez are off of the payroll.
Right.
Okay, so that'll be over $50 million. That'll be like $45 million. So I think that the Yankees back then were looking at that, and then I always wondered, were they going to try to do something in between there? A Band-Aid here, something there. But when the Yankees made the trade got rid of Chapman and got rid of Miller, when they deemed it wasn't going to happen, the Yankees in that moment got 2 top 5 prospects and like 5 or 6 top 75 prospects. So what the Yankees did was a system that was probably a C plus, pushed them to A minus. The Yankees and wherever the Red Sox, we can talk about that later. But the Yankees, I'm not going to say they're the number one. I'm going to say the Yankees have a top 5 system.
Yes.
Okay, in baseball.
Yep.
And so now I think what the Yankees want to do after that, it fit their 2-year plan when they made those 2 moves. It reset everything in my mind.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow, it was a long overdue.
Because now I think the Yankees in the offseason, if I can move really quickly, in the offseason I think they wanted to get rid of Gardner for something if they could have. I think they wanted to get rid of Headley for something if they could have. And now it looks like they were willing to get rid of Castro for something they were willing, or move him to third base if they get rid of Headley. Because I think they still like Castro, but I think the Yankees like more what the young kids look like they're going to bring. Okay? So the Yankees are there, and the Yankees would have given anything to get rid of Ellsbury, but that's not even a conversation to have because they're not going to get rid of a $21 million contract, I think, with 4 years to go. Okay? So anyway, so where are the Yankees? The Yankees are wanting Bird to come back and play well at first base.
Yep.
The Yankees want Judge to fit in somehow, or at least learn enough to start to fit in somewhere during the season in right field.
Yep.
And so then the Yankees are going to go Ellsbury, Gardner, Headley. I like Didi at shortstop. He's becoming a better player every year. I don't know what Sanchez brings. I'm going to be honest with you, okay? But even if he just dials it back and brings defense, 250, and 20 home runs, I'll take it.
The Yankees must be super high on him because they traded away Brian
They
McCann.
traded McCann in the offseason because he didn't
really fit.
He didn't fit.
Yeah.
He didn't fit because I said in the last show that maybe McCann can play some first base, catch some, DH some. But I think what the Yankees saw is they want Sanchez to catch 130 games. All right? And he's only 22 still.
Yeah.
And then bring in just maybe Austin Romine, who was the backup last year, and then let him play. And all that money, there's another $15 million off the payroll they got rid of to Houston, okay? So, and then the Yankees can do what the Red Sox look like they're going to do. Filter that DH system with everyday players, and that's how you take care of your players, I think.
Yeah.
Okay?
Oh, yeah.
So I think the Yankees are actually set. We're going to go Bird, Castro, Didi, Headley, Sanchez, Gardner, Ellsbury, and Judge. Now, I think most of those guys are set. The Yankees have some guys that can, younger kids, that can fill in right field if Judge has trouble out of the gate, or to give him a day off here and there. And the same at first base. Give Bird swings left-handed. Maybe sits every now and then against a lefty if he's not off to a really good start.
Right.
So the Yankees, on the offensive side of the baseball and on the defense of the base on that side, were set like I thought they were at the end of last year.
Yeah.
I didn't see McCann going. I thought McCann would just be a rotating guy, but I felt like Sanchez was going to be the guy.
You don't think that that's going to come back to bite them?
Oh, look,
Veteran presence,
remember a few years ago when the Red Sox, they wanted to play Bradley, Bogarts, and who was the other kid that was a rookie they were going to play? There was going to be 3 kids.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a mistake because that's 33% of the lineup, and it went south on them.
Vasquez, is that who you're thinking of?
I don't think it was Vasquez.
Yeah.
Whoever it was, there was a third player.
Yep.
There was a third player.
That was Mookie Betts.
Maybe it was Mookie Betts,
Yeah.
and because Mookie didn't tear it up right away either. Okay,
no, absolutely not.
So I think where the Yankees are, if you're asking me, do I see danger? I see danger all over the place.
Wow.
I see Ellsbury getting hurt. I see Gardner gets hurt more. Is Headley going to have another terrible 3 months?
Yep.
Is Didi going to digress? Is Castro going to strike out too much again? Is Sanchez not going to play well? Is Bird maybe? Sometimes you just don't get it back.
Yeah, what is
right? Or sometimes it takes a long time.
Yep.
So my only retort to that is, I'm not expecting to win this year, and here's what I'm expecting. I'm expecting those guys, but we have Torres and Frazier coming, a shortstop, and we have Frazier coming, an outfielder, and the Yankees have 2 or 3 other kids that if they play well at AAA, they're coming, and I think Cashman's proved They're not going to be afraid. If Frazier comes and Gardner's not playing well, Gardner's can find himself on the bench, and somebody can get themselves a left fielder, and the Yankees are going to pay half the price.
Yep.
Now, if Headley gets off slow and Torres tears it up where he is, I think he's only going to start in Double-A. But he's the first player.
So starting Double-A, or I thought I was reading he was in like low A or high A, or
Yeah, but he's going to be in double. He's going to start in Double-A.
okay.
But look, this is like what's the kid's name at third? Mancada, Benintendi, or him. Okay, they're all still potential. Okay, but at the age of 19, he won the MVP award in the Arizona Fall League when all the players are 21 and over.
Yep.
Now it's just the Arizona Fall League, and he's okay, all that. But I prefer to look at it this way. They didn't want to give Chicago didn't want to give him up. They wanted Chapman. They had to give him up.
Yep.
Everybody felt like it was a steal. But you know what? As excited as I am, he hasn't played one pitch in the major leagues. But it's nice to have them there when we didn't have anybody there.
Yeah, it was a steal for the Cubs. Let's be honest, because the Cubs got a World Series.
Unless
this guy brings a World Series to New York.
Well, yeah, but it's not a steal. The Cubs got what they wanted instantaneously, and they gave up a possible future.
Yep.
So the trade worked because I wasn't going to get the World Series.
Right.
So I got something where now Chapman's not only back with me, I got your best player that was in your farm system. Mm-hmm. And you didn't want to give him up, and everybody's saying he's this. So where I'm going is, without getting too far afield, is that if Didi keeps playing, nice pun,
I like that.
And I meant that too. If he keeps playing well at shortstop, he's only 26.
Yep.
So the Yankees are already saying they'll play Torres at second base, or they'll play him at third base. I think they prefer to put him at second and then move Castro to third. Okay, because they'd be better defensive alignment that way. My point is this, is that the Yankees have 3 or 4 or 5 players right there knocking on the door, ready to come.
Yep.
You know, but they've got to knock the door down to come. So I'm being factual about it and realistic about it, but I've watched you for 5 years be like this, and me wish I could.
Well,
and you know, I had Severino and I had a couple other players, but then never this influx. Mm-hmm. And now and not only that, the Yankee system has retooled itself to where there's a bunch of pitching in the system, and they're looking at Cessna or Green or Severino or Mitchell to fill out the back of the rotation, and that not only brings up the kids through the system, it doesn't cost them anything.
Well, I mean, obviously, the money's not a big deal to the Yankees.
No, it is a big deal to the Yankees because the Yankees are next year. The Yankees are under the threshold. They need to get by these 2 contracts to be under the threshold, and so the Yankees are going to be under the threshold. And we've always said, how do you build a team? You build it through your farm system. You build it through the trades where it brings you halfway guys like Headley or somebody like that. And then every now and then you go out and you get the stud that you need. Yep. You know, or you make a trade for that stud like Sale.
Right.
Okay.
Or exactly. But I think the Yankees are definitely. I got it on my watch.
Oh, okay.
There you go. They're definitely moving in the right direction. This was kind of like what I was worried about at the end of last year, or even at the trade deadline, is that, you know, they got all these prospects, but you know, how many times have we seen prospects just be that prospects?
Right.
But you know,
I'd rather have them.
But that's the thing, yeah.
And I can trade them.
Great players just don't fall off of trees. You know, they're always prospects. I mean, how many guys that are prospects do pan out, or how many guys that you never even heard of become Mike Trout? You know, it's very rare. So it's all about your developmenting and how you get these players from point A to point B. And I think that's where the Yankees now have these potentials, and how they nurture them along, and maybe not bring them up too fast, too slow. Let them rot in the vine. It's all a delicate balance. I think, you know, that's
I agree with you 100%. But I'm somewhere where I've never been.
Right.
As a Yankee fan for all my years, I've never had a good farm system. The Yankees always sign the best player.
Well, yeah.
And they got lucky with Jeter and Posada and those guys, and they built a good team around them with O'Neill and Martinez and Tim Raines and at the end guys like that. The Yankees were smart that way.
Yep.
But if you don't have that core, you can't do anything.
Exactly.
And if nothing's coming through the system, it doesn't make any difference. Because now there's so much money in baseball. Mm-hmm. There's so much money in baseball. You see teams signing their players.
That's right.
You see teams signing their players.
And you're right about that. And how often is a guy like Mike Trout ever going to hit the market? It's never going to happen, right? And that's why we've been talking about this next year's free agency, 2018 free agency. Well, you know what? It might not be as great as it looks right now.
Right.
You know what? Because
and within the next 2 years, maybe Harper signs with the Nationals, and maybe this guy does this or that guy does that.
Maybe Harper has another down season, or maybe Matt Harvey signs with the Mets, or exactly. So the money doesn't dictate baseball anymore. Like how many times have we said? I mean, it does dictate baseball, obviously, but how many times have we said the Red Sox and the Yankees don't have the upper hand anymore?
Right.
In that respect, because everybody can spend money.
The only upper hand, you're 100% right.
Mm-hmm.
The only upper hand the Yankees have and Red Sox have is they might be able to have 2 or 3 guys that another team could only have 1 of.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
Yep. And maybe even more so if a guy like has a decision between Milwaukee and New York.
Right.
He might want to play in New York because there's more potential and more notoriety.
Well, not the playoffs right now, but yes, but TV contracts,
You
yes.
know what I mean.
Yeah, I know.
So yeah, I mean the Yankees are in a good spot, and from my perspective, all I can hope for is that these guys fizzle. Like Sanchez. I'm not, I got to see this guy do it for another couple of years before I call him, the next Johnny Bench here. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So we'll pump the brakes on him a little bit.
But I'll settle for Jorge Posada.
Right, and that's another thing.
That's
you know
what I'm
what?
saying.
You know what? I can sit here and I can talk all the junk about Gary Sanchez I want, and you can say the same thing, like, hey, we never know. But I'd rather the guy hit 20 home runs than he only hit 2.
Exactly.
All right. I don't care. I don't care if it was a flash in the pan, or at least he's got some potential.
Yeah, he showed potential.
Right. And
over a period of time, and he's been coming in the system, and he was young anyway.
Right.
And it seemed like in the last year or so, it's amazing. How many times do we read about these kids that don't get it?
Right.
And then they get it.
Yeah.
And the get it is usually the maturity.
Right.
And then all of a sudden they become something else.
Yeah.
I mean, Joe Girardi was saying, I didn't recognize the kid from when I saw him in spring training.
That's right.
Not physically, but just the way he carried himself. He didn't recognize him.
Yeah.
Now, I think if you did out his numbers, it's like 85 home runs or something like that, the way he hit them.
Let's be honest.
But I'm telling you, I'll take 250, solid defense, hit me 22 home runs, and drive in whatever you drive in. So you know what? And that still makes, what that makes him? One of the best 3 catchers in baseball.
That's right, yeah, offensively
So I'll take that. Let me finish my pitching.
Go ahead.
Okay. So, and then I want to get back because anyway. So my first 3 guys are Sabathia, Tanaka, and Pineda. And I can't say I'm even remotely excited about that. There's nothing that excites me about that because and Tanaka, last year was Tanaka's best year. As a matter of fact, if you look at the numbers as I was looking at everything,
wow,
it was actually his best year. But because he's already been here a couple of years, the bloom is off the rose or whatever you want to call it. Okay?
Good one, yeah.
So
and he could walk at the end of the year, right?
Yeah, I'm going to get to that.
Okay.
Okay, so Sabathia at the end of last year, pitched like a guy that if he pitches like that, he'd be great number 5. I'd be glad to have him as a number 5 that way.
Yeah.
And now this is where your dig always comes in. I'm not paying the $23 million. And you don't pay anybody $23 million to throw out the number 5 spot out of your bullpen. Okay?
Yep.
But I guess what I'm saying is it's his last year, and I think the Yankees will get service out of him. If he goes 12-10, I'm taking it.
Oh yeah.
If he goes 12-10 and goes 3-8-9, I'm taking it.
You need him just to eat some innings.
Yeah.
Really, yeah.
Yeah, and that's what he did last year. He did that. He made every start last year.
He ate a lot more than innings.
Yeah, well, that's your famous Twinkie thing. Okay. Pineda, I'm going to tell you that when he's on, and I just hope you agree with this because it's true. He's one of the best 5 pitchers in baseball.
He's tough.
When he's on.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the next inning, he's the worst pitcher in baseball.
He's your version of Clay Buchholz.
Oh my God. Now he's also in his walk year.
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you what I see happening. Unless lightning is caught in the bottle about 4 different ways for the Yankees, which you can't ever catch it just one time. I'm talking 4 times.
Yeah.
So I'm saying that I think the Yankees are a 500 team, maybe a little better. I don't think so. But here's what I'm saying. Now, after the haul they took last year, what if Pineda pitches okay? What can the Yankees get at the deadline?
If you're out of it, yeah.
If I'm out of it,
Yeah.
I'm jettisoning. I can't get rid of Sabathia because he's got a no trade. and nobody's, you know. So
Well, you know what? They could probably get something because pitching
Pineda's 28 years old.
pitching is such a premium.
Yeah,
know?
they got
And-
something for Nova, and he was nothing.
Right.
What could they get for Pineda if he pitches okay? And who would maybe, if he just pitches okay, take a shot at him that he doesn't turn it around down the stretch?
That's what I'm saying. It could be one of those change of scenery guys.
You know?
Right.
So I guess what I'm saying is that's my three guys. Tanaka's always ready to pop this or this, wherever it is.
Yep.
He's always ready to pop this, and he has an opt-out.
Yes.
Now, he's only also 28.
Wow.
So I want to say this to you. What does he try to ransom the Yankees for? If it's a 7-year contract, I say, it was nice having you, but I'll see you later. But then it becomes, and if you're going to say this, then does it become, okay, Jeff, who's going to throw number one for you?
I know.
You know, because
And imagine if he has a great year.
if he has a great year, it'd be even worse.
Then he's got him by the you know what?
He probably holds the Yankees. I mean, really, if at the age of 28, do you hold a guy? Do you hold up the Yankees for 8 years and $200 million?
Oh, with an arm
and
hanging
what
off like a
happens
rubber
when
band.
he's 30? It pops.
Yeah.
And then it's 3 years before he gets back to being anything.
That's a tough decision. You're right because I mean.
I'm a Yankee fan. I let him walk.
Yeah, I mean as a fan, but I know.
Well, you know what? I like to. This is
Well, you know
sound
what?
really
Well,
bad. I like to think we're a little bit better knowledge-wise than the average fan. Some days. Okay. But I would let him walk because the Yankees are close to this position because they haven't made. They let Robinson Cano walk.
Well, they couldn't. They just couldn't.
Sure, they could have. Sure, they could have. They could have gone all Alex Rodriguez
There
on
was a
him.
threshold on that one. You couldn't go with guy 30.
So
million.
why isn't it a threshold on a guy that already has an pending injury?
Well, because they basically they could replace a second baseman a lot easier than you can replace a number one. You can't replace a number one. You can't do it.
Okay.
It's impossible.
Okay, I agree with that.
Well, here's the thing. How many more years does he have after this year? 4? Is that what it is?
On his contract,
Yeah.
I think it's 4.
Okay, so
It might be 3.
What if you rip it up and you throw him 6 years? I don't know. You know what's going to answer the question is how he looks this year. That's what I think.
Here's the thing: if he looks good, then I would say to him, "How about if I add a year to your contract?" But dude, I'm talking about out. So I'm gambling out to 30. I mean, we're not even talking about there's nothing wrong with him. If there was nothing wrong, let me rephrase this. If there was nothing wrong with him, I'd give him 8 years and 25 a year.
Oh yeah.
Because I'd push him out to 35.
Yeah.
And it'll be Sabathia maybe at the end, but he'd only be 35.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yep.
So yeah, I would do that. But with the arm like this, and then you know what's going to happen? Maybe I'm the Red Sox, and I'm paying $31 million to a guy that maybe never finds it again, and now I've got that hole that's always sitting there when you're thinking about signing somebody else.
That's right.
That number's always sitting there. Why aren't the Yankees doing anything this year? I can think of 47 million reasons. Named Alex Rodriguez and CC Sabathia.
That's right. Yeah, because you get a couple of those bad contracts and you get a sour taste.
So now do I get, okay, so I let him go. Then my only real bad contract's Ellsbury. But at the end, it's only going to be 3 more years.
Yeah.
And the Yankees can live with it because this is where your theory of they're the Yankees, they can live with it.
Yeah.
You know?
He's got to
so
give
anyway,
something now.
So anyway, let me route it out. So at the last 3 spots, the Yankees are looking at 4 kids they really like, Severino being one of them. Okay, and supposedly he's done this and that, but you know what? I'll believe it when I see it because all I remember is him going back to AAA.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and he seems like maybe he's one of these kids up because when they brought him back and he got shelled again, they put him in the bullpen and he was unhittable.
Yeah.
He'd come in for 1 inning, he was unhittable.
You gotta be careful moving around like that.
Yeah,
though.
I don't want that. That was only for the end of the season.
Yeah.
But at the back end of my bullpen, Clippard, Betances, Chapman, the best in baseball. There's nothing to even talk about. But here comes the problem. When my guys start getting shelled up front, if that happens, the back end of the bullpen won't make any difference because by August they'll be like on their knees. There'll be oxygen. They'll have oxygen out in the bullpen.
Yeah, exactly.
So what do I see? What do I see? I'm hoping for a 500 team because I just think there's too much to have to know. And I think the bigger deal is this. The important thing to know isn't going to be in New York this year. The bigger thing to know is those kids that are knocking on the door, and then it's going to be next year. It's going to be the end of this year, And the beginning of next year, I think when you see the Yankees move.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Now, when I say move, I mean other players maybe make the sale trade.
Yeah.
Who they know who they got. Maybe a couple guys become really, really good, and then there's a couple other guys that maybe no, but they're still tradable, and then they can make trades.
right. Well, that's the thing. I mean, the Yankees have enough surplus that they can start making trades.
They need not
yet.
yet. They need to know more about these kids for themselves.
Yeah, and also who is out there to trade, right? I mean, who's on the trading block?
I
right
don't
now?
think it's an issue for the Yankees right now. I think the Yankees really want to know. I think the Yankees have 6 or 7 players, maybe 8 or 9, because there's some pitchers in there now. They want to know what they have for not this year, for next year.
Yeah.
And they want to know what they have for 2 reasons: to bring it up or to trade it,
Right. Yeah, that's true.
or who to sign.
Yeah, I mean,
So that's where I think the Yankees
that's
are.
a good position to be in, though.
I
because at least-
like it. I'm actually looking forward to it. I know that you looked forward to one Red Sox season when they were playing the young kids, but you knew they were coming.
Right.
And you like that.
But you lower your expectations too.
Yes.
Right. So you know that.
And that's where I am this year. I'm not expecting to make the playoffs.
Yeah, and unfortunately, you have a bullpen that's built for the playoffs. And
That's
you're
right.
And you're probably not going to get to utilize them
No,
properly.
but I will the year after this.
We'll see. We'll
you
see
hope.
about that. Rollis Chapman
so
doesn't
that's
kill
so
his
that's
wife.
the Yankees. Oh, just stop it.
Okay. All right. So that's your stupid Yankee talk.
That's my Yankee. talk.
All right.
And
so
you did pretty good there, just not being an ass.
well,
so I give you credit.
I'm not in the flow yet.
yeah.
It's just
You still thinking about the big Super Bowl win?
I don't know what you're talking about. All right, so so the Red Sox had a little bit more interesting offseason. So obviously, like we said, they picked up Chris Sale. So now that was huge. The Red Sox traded. You're not going to get something for nothing.
Right.
So they gave up Yoan Moncada and they paid the remainder of his contract, which was $30 million. And that one kind of hurt, because well, for one thing. The last thing we saw of Yoan Moncada was he struck out 12 times in a row. So not that softens the blow at all. And I'm not going to sit here and say, well, that guy sucks now that he's not on the team anymore. Obviously, he's probably going to be a perennial all-star. But you know how I feel about these Cuban players. And especially now that he's gone, when he was my guy, I was very pro Castro, Cuba. Now that he's gone,
A lot of strikeouts in
we'll
there
see.
for all of them. They're free swingers.
Wow, you know what it was, and this kid's gonna figure it out. He's like 20 years old. They threw him fastballs and he's ripping the crap out of the ball. They threw him a couple curveballs and he was
tying himself into the ground.
He was corkscrewing into the ground. It was a prototypical Pedro Serrano. You know the Pedro Serrano reference.
Yep.
That's what it was.
Big leagues.
Yep. Major league.
Major leagues.
He's gonna figure it out. He's gonna be.
Well, you don't know.
That's a good point.
You don't know. I'm
I'd
not trying
like
to make you feel better.
I'd like to think
but
so.
you don't know.
I'll tell you what.
Look what they got for him.
Let me tell you what. The White Sox got rid of Chris Sale. The White Sox had a fantastic offseason this year, I believe. I feel like they got so many good young players this year. So they got.
And they're not done yet.
I know. They got. This is what made me feel so much better, and I wish I could remember the guys' names, everybody's name. But after the Washington Nationals missed out on Chris Sale because they wanted him too,
Right.
they gave up their best pitching prospect for Adam Eaton.
Yep.
And the people were saying
I
that,
have no idea why they made that trade.
that the Red Sox got a better deal out of the White Sox than the Nationals
Oh
did.
yeah, absolutely.
The Nationals gave
for
up their-
Adam Eaton.
And they gave up their best pitching
cares
prospect.
about Adam Eaton?
Right. I know he's a nice center fielder.
That's
it's about
yeah.
it. I know that's
he
what I'm
doesn't. He's not a Cy Young Award winner,
yeah.
maybe.
Yeah, he doesn't really do it for me anyways.
Kidding me?
So anyways,
sick.
the Red Sox gave up also this Kopech guy.
He's going to be good.
That's the kid I've been real high on in the past, and even more so lately. I follow him on social media, and he posts a lot of it, like his workouts and stuff. I'll tell you what, this guy, if he was standing here, I'd be hiding behind you. He beat the crap out of both of us at once. He's a big, huge kid, and he's going to be a horse. And he does the 100-mile-an-hour thing. Again, you can probably name off 10 guys that threw 100 miles an hour and can't find the plate or have nothing else to go with
Daniel
it.
Bard.
There you go. So, that makes me feel good. So the Red Sox get Chris Sale with 4 years left on his contract, 3 or 4 years left on his contract at $12 million a year. Under control, he's going to be after Clayton Kershaw, he's probably the best pitcher in baseball.
Well, I'll say this for you. He's top 5.
He's up there. Yeah.
I'll say top 5.
He's one of those guys.
You know what? He's got to prove it in Boston now.
That's a good point. So that's where the negativity.
That's what I'm hanging on for.
Oh yeah. Well, listen. When the Red Sox got David Price, did you think David Price was going to do what he did last year?
His stats were not bad at the
They
end of
were.
the year.
You know what? You're
You know
right.
what? His
And,
stats
but
were-
you know what? The last thing we saw him was getting rocked to the playoffs again.
That's it.
So he had that was a bitter pill
I'm
to
going to be
swallow.
honest with you. David Price did what I thought he was going to do. I think he just got off to a rockier start.
Yeah, he had a, and you know what? Everything he did was so scrutinized. Remember, you don't know if you remember earlier in the season.
He's
like,
not a $31
whoa, he's
million
only throwing 91.
He's
and
not
like,
a $31 million
no.
year
You know
player.
what though, dude? Nobody is.
No.
Right?
Well,
Kershaw. That's
yeah.
it. It's Kershaw and everybody else, and that's my opinion. But I think two things. Number one, and this is where I throw my rosy-colored glasses on a little bit.
That's not like you.
I think that David Price is going to have a Rick Porcello-like
a bounce
turnaround.
back year.
Yeah, it's only natural. And but listen.
You couldn't even say that without laughing. Did
We'll
you
see.
practice that in the mirror before you came?
Yeah. Why do you think I got here so much earlier than you to rehearse? But also, the addition of Chris Sale is going to push David Price back in the rotation.
doesn't
a little
hurt.
bit. Right? And so David Price, all of a sudden, even though he's going to be making $20 million more than your number one starter, which I don't know how that dynamic is going to play out.
Yeah, see, that's a good way to. I was going to wait for you to finish. I think he's going to. Excuse. Here we go again. This is a double. You're going to like this.
Entendre?
He's going to pay the price.
Oh.
Get it financially, and his name is Price.
Right. And there's
Okay?
going to be a sale on the price.
That's it.
Anyways.
We're not drinking before the show. We just want people to know that.
No.
But I like what you're saying, because if he pitches number 3, yeah, that takes pressure off him. But does it put pressure on him? Because now people are going to look at him and go, "He's not. Why are we paying him $31 million? What kind of heat does he catch for that?"
Yeah, I mean that could go both ways, right? So it's going to be. Listen,
You have a good pitching staff.
numbers 1, 2, 3. I don't think that there's anybody. Maybe the Mets can compare.
Easy.
I think
Mets
the Red
are
Sox.
easily better than Mets are easily
I'm not
better.
going to say. Oh, you can't say.
Price?
easily
Who's Price better than on the Mets?
better. Everybody?
Who is Price better than on the Mets? Come on.
He's better than DeGrom.
Oh my God! I would take DeGrom over anybody you have, except for maybe Sale.
Take prices. Take money out of the equation. Are you just saying he's not good because he's paid so much? David Price is still one of the best
No,
pitchers
he's
in baseball.
not.
All right, we'll see.
I would say he's
He had,
between.
he had the worst year of his career, and he won 18 games last year.
And he got shelled in the playoffs.
Well, how did DeGrom do in the playoffs?
Syndergaard, DeGrom.
Syndergaard's
Harvey?
okay. Harvey's,
Don't.
All right, anyways.
Anyway, just try to move away from that.
The Red Sox starting rotation is going to be formidable, right? Okay, because
Who's the fourth and fifth?
they have two guys in the back end of the rotation that were all-stars last year, between Drew Pomerantz, who I'm not sure about this year, but he's going to be in the starting rotation, Eddie Rodriguez, and then they're going to have Steven Wright back there as well. So,
Okay, as a Yankee fan, I can only hope that Rodriguez's knee just.
it might.
Yeah, whatever.
It might.
And who's the other kid? Shaw's
Shaw's gone.
No, who's the other relief? Right?
Steven Wright, the knuckleballer.
Maybe it becomes Tim Wakefield. And if he becomes Tim Wakefield, I'd leave him at the number 5 spot for the next 15 years.
He pitched like he did last year, dude.
But for a while, he was the best pitcher in baseball.
He was.
I hate to say that.
I know.
So
Unhittable.
I just I don't know what you're gonna get. You
don't know what you're gonna get.
Or just maybe it's maybe it's the fairy dust winds up and every knuckleball he threw dove 8 inches to the right.
Exactly.
Yeah. But out of the number 5.
If you can get,
And that's even if he makes it. If Pomerantz and Rodriguez pitch well.
then you get the best problem there is to have.
That's right.
You have too much.
The late 1990s Yankee teams that won all the World Series every year came to camp with 6 or 7 starters.
Oh, yeah.
And every year Torrey would say, "No big deal," and he was right. Somebody'd always be hurt.
Dude, it's every single year. The 04 Red Sox are the only team I can think of that went through from day one to the last game of the season without a pitcher getting hurt. It just does not happen. And that brings me to my next point. My thoughts are jumbled here, because I'm all over the place. But trading Clay Buchholz, I think, is going to come back to bite the Red Sox. It was a salary dump, right? They got some minor leaguer for him. And say what you want about Clay Buchholz, he's the ultimate tease. He's like I said, he's Michael Pineda, but probably a little bit.
Oh, better than Michael Pineda.
I was going to say probably a little bit more of a high side, but he's so frustrating to have. But you know what? He came up big last year because he went bigly, right?
Yeah, they sent him. They sent him to the bullpen.
He went into the bullpen.
Instead of losing it.
He performed, and he gave him innings, and he was uber valuable.
You know what the mistake on this is? The Red Sox could have traded him at the trade deadline. What would they have gotten for him if he was pitching well? They
Dude.
probably wouldn't have traded him.
Right, but if everything panned out and they had
this trade.
I know.
It
It was a salary dump. That's
Oh,
all it was.
man.
The Red Sox are
Why?
The Red Sox are in this strange
The Red
position.
Sox are worth like what, $2 billion?
They're in this weird thing where they're trying to stay. Well, not trying. They're going to stay under the luxury tax. The luxury
and
tax
they gave
threshold.
up a useful pitcher to do it.
I know, and they were still under, but this gave them a little bit more flexibility. But listen, the Red Sox, their biggest problem this year is going to be losing David Ortiz. They could have gotten Edwin Encarnacion for $20 million a year for 4 years. I think that's a pretty reasonable contract.
Dude,
I know he's older, but
sick if they signed Sale and then a couple days later you texted me and they go, guess what?
Dude.
I would have known what the text meant. That would have scared the hell out of me.
I'd say 40 to 45 home runs in Fenway Park. That guy would drop
50,
easily.
55?
Easily.
Easy. 55.
Yeah, and that is going to, you know what? It's a double-edged sword because that's going to come back to bite the Red Sox because you know what? The Cleveland Indians are, I think, the team to beat.
Holy cow.
I think they're the team to beat in the American League. They're getting their two best pitchers back off of the disabled list, Carrasco and Salazar. Anyway, so
they're going to be good.
A couple of
My dad used to be a Cleveland Indian fan, became a Toronto Blue Jay fan. You should have made a mistake.
They're going to be, really.
They're going to be good.
They're going to be really good. Okay, a couple of other things
In
I want
that
to go over
division?
real quick. I know. Well, you know what?
They were 110 games.
Here's the greatest thing about baseball, as opposed to football, and this is why I hate football. I can't stand it. I'm so sick of it. I don't even want to talk about it. Baseball, what we think, we've said this for 8, 9 years. How many years we've been doing
However
this?
many years we've been
this
doing the
stupid show. Every year, whatever you think is going to happen in the beginning of the season, something different always happens, right? So who knows? Maybe Cleveland sucks at the end of the year. You never know. But you can't just say last year was very rare that the best team won the World Series.
Yeah,
Right?
I agree.
Okay, so be prepared for a lot of surprises.
Okay. I still say Cleveland's going to be good.
We'll see.
I agree with the surprises.
We'll see.
But
We'll see. Okay. Also, the Red Sox picked up this Tyler Thornburg kid from Milwaukee. They gave up Travis Shaw for him. Another thing, infield depth. We'll see what happens.
Multiple position
This
player.
I know, and this Thornburg kid though is really good. And the Red Sox' biggest need is in the bullpen. Their bullpen is a disaster.
Do you know, isn't that a problem the Red Sox can never be able to fix? Would you say?
Well, they fixed it when they won the World Series, but it was because Koji pitched really well.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean now.
They had
The last,
They've had trouble with it for the last however many seasons, and bullpens by themselves are an enigma.
You got that right.
Right, and so it's just you got to strike gold. That's really all it comes down to, and you got to have if you have a guy like Andrew Miller, you can. It doesn't matter who else you have. You can ride that guy, or if you have a guy like Betances and Chapman, but if you don't. And you're
trying to mix and match.
You're hoping and wishing that these guys overperform.
You're 100% right.
And I think that's where the Red Sox are.
And don't we always find every year? Now you're talking about the teams that are playing, teams that like step up, and we don't see them or don't think about them or talk about them enough. Isn't it always that those teams have good bullpens?
Absolutely.
Like Kansas City a couple years ago.
Absolutely, and you know what it is?
Defense and bullpen.
Yeah, it's run prevention, dude, and that's where
And that's becoming bigger now.
Oh yeah, it's the game. You know teams that score 800 runs don't do anything in the playoffs, as evidenced as by last year. So I think that's by picking up Chris Sale. I think that's a move that the Red Sox are going in. So they never replaced David Ortiz, but in a sense they replaced David Ortiz with Chris Sale. I think that the Red Sox aren't going to score 800 runs this year, and I'm okay with that. It's going to be it won't be quite as exciting as baseball, but maybe it'll be
more exciting when you win more.
Exactly. You got a guy going out there.
Your game's going to be more exciting when your team wins 4-3 than when it does 8-2. I promise you.
Absolutely.
Because you're going to be excited. You're going to be there, and the game's over, and you see it, and you go,
yeah. A lot of this too. But you're right. But having a guy like Chris Sale is. I'm not going to say he's like Pedro or anything, but you're going to have a guy that's going to go out there.
He's top 5.
And you're going to expect.
Yes.
A performance out of the guy.
You're going to expect whether he gets it or not. You're going to expect your team to win every time he pitches.
And if he tanks, then we're screwed. I'm screwed. You're going to be in La La Land over there. Okay. And also one other move the Red Sox made, a minor one. Mitch Moreland.
Yep.
Good Fenway hitter.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. All or nothing.
He's a Gold Glover. I'm not really sure whether.
But you know what? Before Mike Napoli, who
The Red Sox, right? He's almost like a Doug Mankiewicz kind of guy, and so a good first baseman defensively can be worth his value. You know what I mean?
Teixeira was for a lot of years.
Yeah, but Teixeira hit. So you got to get
Well,
some
I'm just saying,
production.
yeah,
out.
yeah,
You
but
got to
still.
get some production out of your corners. So they gave him a 5-year deal. I mean, a 5-year, $5 million
Yeah.
1-year deal. So it's not $5 million.
Yeah,
It's $5 million. But all right, so that's that. Real quick, I want to run through the
got
rest
time.
of the. Look at this. I got a lot to talk about on the backside. So I want to talk about the outfield. I'm so excited about the outfield. You got Benintendi, you got Jackie Bradley, you got Mookie Betts. Good to go. You also got Chris Young out there. You got maybe, who knows, Rusney Castillo comes back this year. Brock Holt filling in. I think Travis Shaw in the outfield, spelling guys once in a while was a big thing that's going to hurt. Infield, not so much. Okay, you got Xander Bogaerts, who needs to take a major step forward this year. Right?
And he was last
It
year.
was awesome last year, but he just fell
And then
apart.
he disappeared.
Fell apart, and I think he even came out and said, he got tired.
I wonder
and
if the season
it
was too
wore on
long to
him.
wore him out.
Yeah.
Seriously,
And
because you know what? I like Bogarts.
Yeah, and I think the younger guys sometimes, like you say, it takes a little bit for these guys to get it. You know what I mean? Like Pedroia. Pedroia doesn't get tired at the end of the season,
Right.
and he's almost double Bogarts' age.
Yeah, like 33
Right?
or something, 34.
So he's got it figured out. So you got Pedroia at second base, steady Eddie over there. First base, you're going to still have Hanley Ramirez and Mitch Moreland. The Red Sox are going to have the luxury of, like you said, moving DHs around, and I think that's going to help a lot. And that's not to say that I'm not 100% sold that David Ortiz isn't coming back.
I agree with you 100%.
I am not
I
sold.
agree that in August, or something like that, all of a sudden, if he only has to play for 2 months.
They're supposed to be retiring his jersey in June, and I don't know. I have something weird.
No, I think it's coming. I think he's going to feel healthy.
Yep.
Because it's not going to be an everyday deal.
Yep.
I think he's going to pull Roger Clemens for the next couple of years.
Yeah, and that could end up being the worst thing that ever happens too, because if he comes back and sucks, it's going to be a disaster. It could be Brett Favre, right?
Okay, well, if he comes back and sucks, they release him.
Yeah, and if he comes back and he doesn't suck, then that could be.
That just adds to the legend.
Yeah, maybe he's going to want to pull like a Tom Brady here or something like that. But the biggest question mark the Red Sox have, I think, in the entire team is Pablo Sandoval. He's already basically been given the first base.
You see the shape that boy's in?
Yeah, he's not quite as bad, right?
Not quite as
Yeah,
bad. He's
yeah.
doing excellent.
I know. So
So they see there's effort there to get like that.
I'd like to see. It wouldn't surprise me if he has a pretty good season. Let's just put it that way. And
He
then
just has to have an average season to
he
get
does.
past it
He does. I know. And the fans will leave him alone.
and play defense.
Yep. And then so
Which he
also
can do.
also again, you're right. Also a catcher, they're gonna have Sandy Leon, Blake Swihart, and Christian Vasquez. Same thing as last year.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a problem all year long for them.
Yep, most likely. But somebody will get hurt, and you know how it goes. You can't have enough. And then in the bullpen, you got this Thornburg kid. You got Matt Barnes, Robbie Ross, Fernando Abad, who was terrible. Carson Smith will be coming back, who's my favorite player. Joe Kelly, and then Craig Kimbrell, who we'll see what Craig Kimbrell can do this year. He had a pretty down year last year, in my opinion.
I think your bullpen could go anywhere. You know what? I mean, a couple of those guys could light it up, and it could be a good bullpen,
So true.
or they could be bad.
So true. And the thing I made a note of this earlier because I wanted to say this is that every single team has question marks this
Oh,
year. Right?
yes.
Every single team. The Yankees could win 95 games this year.
Yankees are
miraculously,
winning. Not unless you put the last year's wins and this year's wins together.
I love it. All right, so that's the Red Sox real quick.
Okay.
I had to condense it a little bit. But,
Okay, tell me what.
we got plenty of time.
Okay, so we off the top of your head, how many games did you win?
I'm gonna go with 93.
That's a lot.
I know.
Okay.
I know. But you got those three guys at the top of the rotation, and those guys are streak busters. Red Sox get on any kind of losing streak or something, and you throw one of those guys out there, and you got a good chance to win any single night.
Okay.
And they're going to have to expect a lot out of Mookie Betts this year. I think Mookie Betts is his team pretty much now.
I agree.
Between him and Pedroia.
I agree.
But he's going to have a lot of pressure on him, and I think he'll be fine with it. I think that guy's a superstar. He really
I
is.
agree, unfortunately.
So in the outfield, I don't see a lot of balls dropping in that outfield, man. It's tough. And so there's going to be holes, obviously, but we'll see how the team comes together. They could totally suck. They could win 69 games. Who the hell knows? So all right, let's move over to our Did You Knows or around the league because, like I said, I got a lot. First of all, the Hall of Fame for baseball was announced. Jeff Bagwell, Pudge Rodriguez, and Tim Raines were inducted. Any problems with any three of those?
The first two are roid users.
Think
Shouldn't
so?
be in.
All right, so maybe even Tim Raines was.
I don't think so.
How about Kurt Schilling getting snubbed again? What do you think of that?
People hate him because he's Republican and he says what he thinks.
That's wrong. His vote tally went down this year,
Yep.
which is wrong.
Yep.
And it was because of Twitter tirades.
Right.
So I think that's wrong, and hopefully next year, I think
I don't know if he's a Hall of Famer. I will say this: he's borderline. You could make the argument to make me believe it, type thing.
I've heard it pretty well argued that he definitely the best postseason pitcher of all time.
That I think that's what pushes me over the top. That would be your argument for to say then you say and then
Right.
You know.
Because that's a big part of it, right? I mean, that's
Absolutely. Just because other guys didn't make it to the postseason doesn't mean that a guy that played well in the postseason should have it held against him.
Exactly. Because that's when it's when it's most prevalent, anyways.
David
All right.
Price.
Also, yeah, exactly. Also, Encarnacion to the Indians, like I said. Jose Bautista went back to the Blue Jays.
Good move.
I think so too. And Mark Trumbo went back to the Orioles. So,
Yep, good move for the Orioles.
Big Bat's still in the AL East. Also, we forgot to mention Donald Trump got elected president. So
You're talking two deplorables here.
We'll definitely delve into that as the year.
I hope our ratings don't go
on.
down.
Yeah, I know. It's gonna be a lot of fake news going on here. All right. So also, this is a World Baseball Classic here.
Yep, I know you love that.
That starts. Well, it's because it's baseball early, but it's got to. I almost wish they would keep major leaguers out of it. That's my wish, because I feel like, guys, this is when people get hurt, type thing.
Oh,
you know
man,
what I mean?
I don't want any Yankees playing in this.
That's what I'm saying.
If I own
It's
the
just-
Yankees and I said, if you play in that, get hurt, I'm going to void your contract.
Yeah, and I think there's enough good to very good amateur baseball players out there.
I don't want to get stuck on this, but the problem is that you're 100% right, but the problem is nobody's going to watch.
I know. Well, nobody watches women's basketball either, but they still put it on TV. All right.
Yeah, on CPTV.
There's two major proposals that are out right now for the contract negotiations. Number one is they want to raise the strike zone.
Yep.
And I don't know if you read this. They want to move it up from the bottom of the knees to up higher. That'll increase more offense, I guess. I don't think either one of these is going to happen, because the other one is they want to eliminate throwing 4 balls for an intentional walk. They just want to say go to first base. I don't think that's going to happen either. They're trying to speed up the game,
Right.
but I don't think that's a good way to do it. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see if it even takes place. Also, today Mike Napoli signed a 1-year deal with the Rangers. I think that's a great deal.
It's a home run.
The NFL announced their Hall of Fame the other day.
Yep.
Tell me if you got a problem with any
Yeah,
of
I
these
do.
guys.
All the people. What is Jerry Jones doing in the Hall of Fame? He's an idiot. He's an idiot.
All right.
He owns the team and he plays general manager, and they didn't make the playoffs for like 400 million years in a row.
Yeah, but
What's up with that?
They did have a dynasty.
And who's responsible for that dynasty? Johnson.
Yeah.
And then he left.
Yeah.
And then they sucked.
Well, maybe then he just paid his way into it.
I'll buy that.
I think more importantly, I think that Terrell Owens getting snubbed is worse.
Yeah, he was a great player.
Than Jerry Jones being put in.
Yeah.
But a couple other guys, Dane Thomason, Kurt Warner. I got no problem with any of these guys. I don't know who Kenny Easley is.
Yeah,
older player.
I want to say Kenny Easley was a defensive player,
Okay.
a defensive backfield player.
All right, and so two other things we got. Tiger Woods, is he done? What's going on with Tiger Woods?
Well, he's never going to be the player he was.
I don't think so either.
And I don't think he can even be. He might win a tournament here or there, but I think he's mentally done beyond his body even being physically done.
It's too bad too. And you know what?
Just like that.
I know. Steroids, I guess.
I don't know.
I mean, the problem too with Tiger is just because he's 40, 41 years old doesn't mean he's done. But
No,
these guys
this day and age, he could still be a great player.
Yeah, but
if he was a great player.
Some of these players now that are these younger kids are nasty. I mean,
Jason Day.
We're witnessing some really incredible young golfers coming up through the ranks right now.
It's fun watching golf tournaments.
It is. It's very fun, and that's why I think that would be so much more intriguing, because Phil Mickelson.
There's no doubt about that.
Phil Mickelson can only do what he can. He's still in it. He's
still in it, but he's only really not
he can't,
not all the time.
Yeah, he's not gonna compete for all 4 majors. You know what I mean? But if Tiger Woods can get back on the horse and can give these kids like a run for their money, I'll tell you what.
That'd be good
the
TV.
Ratings would go ballistic.
Agreed, 100%.
So, and then the one more thing around the league is a stupid Super Bowl that was the other night. It was one of the most epic collapses. I'm not going to give the Patriots any credit for that game, because the Atlanta Falcons somehow, there had to be at halftime, they had to be told that they weren't allowed to win the game. That's the only thing I can think of, right? I mean, the commissioner must have came down and said, I don't know, I'll give you guys each $20 million to lose this game. I don't know. There's no explanation for it. I listened to Francesa yesterday, and he was saying that the Atlanta put on a clinic of how to lose a football game, and they said there was a certain point in the game after the Julio Jones catch. I don't know if you remember what I'm talking about.
That was a sweet point.
Where Matt Ryan could have taken a knee for 3 straight downs,
Right.
forced New England to call their timeouts. Could have taken a knee, kicked the field goal, game's over. I mean, the Yankees, the Patriots, could not have come back from that statistically. There wasn't enough time for them to do it. The Falcons did everything in their power to lose that game. It was. After I watched it, I just couldn't believe it. I was in utter shock. Like I told you, at least the Seattle game was quick and instantaneous, and it was like, what just happened?
Right.
And this one was just a slow burn. It was like, what in the world? So the Patriots have two of their Super Bowl rings. I count as invalid. It's just.
So Sunday's game was invalid?
Oh, yeah. All right. That is, you know what? And I'm telling you, I'm this close to the point of just not being a football fan. I'm so happy that I won my fantasy football league this year because that's really all I care about. Because the Redskins give me nothing, as usual. And the Patriots roll out of bed, and they're going to win. They're going to win. They're going to be in the Super Bowl. It's probably going to happen again next year, right? I mean.
And Brady, in 5 years, he's going to be 44, and he's going to be playing in the Super Bowl.
For you, he won't. He's going to be dead, I hope. So
No, you didn't.
All right, you're right. Just paralyzed. But for you, and I told you this, I don't hate Tom Brady. I really don't. I just hate Patriot fans. Patriot fans, honestly.
Do you hate the Patriots or the fans?
The fans. I don't really hate the Patriots
so
that
then
much.
you have to say what the Patriots did on Sunday in the second half was epic.
No.
No, you said you hate the fans, not the team.
This isn't me hating the team. This is me just saying they just went out there and
But not only did
Atlanta just gave them the
But
game.
not only did Atlanta, look, I'll give you,
Atlanta
Atlanta choked.
They worked
choked.
hard.
They choked. But the Patriots still had to make the plays.
It was easy to make the plays when the other team's letting you do
How about
everything you want.
the catch Edelman made?
Okay, that was a good catch, big deal. So listen to me right now. Listen to me.
Yes, sir.
Atlanta was up 28-3 at one point.
Mm-hmm.
Once they scored their 28th point, it was 28-3. You know how many more times they ran the ball? They should have ran the ball every single time they had the ball. They should have ran it right to the line, three and out. Clock ticked. The clock was their biggest enemy, not the New England Patriots. You know how many more times they ran the ball in the remainder of the game? 5. They ran the ball 5
and how many times did they throw?
5 more times. Every other time. And he got sacked every other time. All right, anyways. Frank's telling us to wrap it up.
So, do they not deserve the Super Bowl trophy? Is what you're saying?
No, we'll talk about this next time. All right, I got a couple of quick did you knows.
Okay,
You
I got
any?
one too.
All right, go ahead. You go quick.
Okay, mine's really quick. In 2015, 64 players hit 20 home runs or more in the major leagues. 64 players hit 20 or more home runs in 2015. In 2016, 111 hit 20 homers or more.
Holy cow.
I'm just saying, you know me, I'm not a conspiracy theory person or, like a negative type person there.
You know, that's a strange stat though, because you don't think of guys, you don't think that there's that many home runs being hit anymore.
20 home runs doesn't look like a lot of home runs.
That's right.
Though.
You're right. You know.
So I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe new strain going around or something.
Oh boy, here we go.
You know how I am about that.
All right, here's a couple of quick ones for you. On June 12th, 1880, Lee Richmond did this for the first time.
No, say it again.
Lee Richmond in 1880 did this.
1880?
This was done for the first time
I have
ever.
no idea.
All right, he pitched a perfect game.
Okay.
He's the first pitcher ever to pitch a perfect game. He was on the Worcester Ruby Legs.
Okay.
Who is the only pitcher to ever win World Series games in 3 different decades?
I have no idea because we're out of time.
Jim Palmer.
Oh, no kidding.
Also never gave up a Grand Slam in his whole career.
Oh, wow.
I got some more, but we'll get to them next time. All right, we'll be back in, a couple weeks or whatever.
Yeah, just keep checking because the season's starting.
Yeah, April 3rd is opening day for the Red Sox.
So maybe the last week of March will be on or something. Maybe.
Yeah, yep. Whatever.
Something like that. Just keep tuning in.
Whenever we feel like it, all right? All right, we're Sox and Stripes forever. We'll be back in a little while. We're out of here. See you later.
Go Patriots!